Hello and welcome to 𝐿𝐭𝐚𝐲 CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup Matchday 12. We have Brazil, Uruguay as a big highlight in these days. But of course, some important games, Leo, after Argentina, another defeat, third defeat in this road to the World Cup. And Brazil, another time, they cannot win. They won 5, Leo, and they couldn't win 6 in this road to Mexico, US, Canada.
Yes, and hello everyone. And between the both of them, Brazil was the closest one to win their match, and they had the chances to do it. They missed a penalty to make it 2-1, but Argentina was absolutely very poor. Colombia losing away to Uruguay. There is kind of like a little pattern so far or lately in the South American qualifiers that teams are doing very well at home, but away from home, even Argentina, even Colombia, they are losing points. But really looking forward for this Brazil-Uruguay in Bahia, a very good Colombia, Ecuador in Barranquilla 2 on match day 12.
There are 4 teams without a win away, and the top in away form is Argentina with 10 points in 6 games. So it's very hard to win away from home in the CONMEBOL. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section. Of course, press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And let's start with the first game we have in Bolivia, in El Alto, Bolivia, Paraguay. You know how difficult it is to win in Bolivia. 3 wins for the home team while playing in the altitude. Away from home, they always struggle. We can see it in the last 2 results, 4-0 in Ecuador, 6-0 in Argentina. But be careful because, as we said, Leo, at home they beat Colombia and Venezuela 2-0, and they are super favorites, 1.6, despite Paraguay's form beating Brazil and Argentina at home. And what the hell happened with Sanabria goal, Leo? One of the goals of the year. Was Cristiano Ronaldo in Sanabria's boots?
Absolutely, a beautiful goal from Tony Sanabria, and what a moment for Paraguay. Edu, 11 points out of a possible 15 with Gustavo Alfaro. First home win against Argentina in 15 years. The first time in history that Paraguay managed to beat a team that is the current world champion. And the way they have done it, because they won it from behind with a bicycle kick and with the historical soup of the day in Paraguayan football, a header. That's what they needed, and 𝐜𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐶𝐿 gave it to them with the 2-1. Alfaro brought is very clear to see joy and hope back to Paraguay. It was a magical night for them. I don't believe there was a single Paraguayan supporter thinking or going home thinking, yes, we won, but we had only 20% possession of the ball. That is not too good. No. The reality is the plan was executed perfectly by Alfaro, by their players. There was only one moment in the whole match where you could say Paraguay was not organized, and that was on the second half when Rodrigo de Paul could have equalized in a counter-attack. But other than that, Paraguay closed the spaces between lines all game, and never allowing Messi or Alexis to receive the ball to play forward. Gustavo Gomez hit the crossbar with a header after Lautaro's goal, and a few minutes after that header, we saw Sanabria's superb overhead kick. The only aerial duel that Paraguay lost in the full game was at the very end. I think it was 95th minute of the match, when Tati Castellanos could have also scored, but 𝐜𝐨𝐴ZZ𝐵, Gomez, and Junior Alonso were all outstanding at the back. Look, Edu, Paraguay, with another 9 points, they will reach 25 points in this qualifier, right? They have 16. We know that for the first time, 6th place gives you automatic qualification to a World Cup. On the road to Qatar, Colombia finished 6th with 23. For Russia 2018, Chile was the 6th with 26 points. Paraguay was 7, but now 7th give you at least a playoff opportunity. Then on the road to Brazil, Venezuela was 6th with 20 points. So with 9 more points for Paraguay, they will be in this World Cup for sure. So to be honest, thinking that in March, on match day 13, they're going to play home against Chile, bottom of this qualifier, I think this takes a little bit more pressure from them going into El Alto. The last 4 visits for Paraguay to Bolivia, they all ended in defeats, conceding 12 and scoring only 4. On the road to Qatar was 4-0 for Bolivia. Before those 4 consecutive defeats in Bolivia, Paraguay managed 2 draws, both of them 0-0. If they do it this time, it could be, I would say, even bigger than the victory against Argentina, but still, I don't see it because El Alto is a completely different game. You mentioned it. Colombia couldn't do it. Venezuela couldn't do it. Argentina, when they traveled there, they played in La Paz, and it was a different moment for Bolivia. It was at the beginning of these qualifiers. It's true that Paraguay, with Alfaro, they traveled to Quito and they managed a 0-0, but we need to think that El Alto is like playing almost 𝐿𝐿𝐼𝐻 in terms of the altitude. Bolivia having conceded 10 times in the last 2 games is not something that will be reading too much going into a game in El Alto. This said, look, Colombia and Venezuela, they manage to create chances, to create goal scoring opportunities, especially Colombia have great chances to score. So both teams to score is 2.25, which is not something completely illogical or something that I will rule out both teams to score. But my take here, Edu, is Bolivia to win plus goals over 1.5, 2.33.
All right, remember that Bolivia beat 2-0 Colombia and Venezuela, so it's very difficult to score in El Alto. Very important game, this one for the qualifiers. Bolivia right now level on points with Venezuela, out of the World Cup, and Paraguay only 4 points away. Next game is Colombia, Ecuador. Very likely both teams will be in the World Cup. Ecuador now +4 with Venezuela and Bolivia after this brilliant win to Bolivia. Was we saw 4 goals, but it could have been easily 6, 7. Was a very easy game for La Tri. Colombia, Leo, what a game in Uruguay. What a thriller at the end. They lost it in the very last minute, but at home also a very strong team. 3 wins in a row, playing in Barranquilla, 4 wins and 1 draw at home in these qualifiers.
Yes, absolutely, Edu. And again, if the theme of these qualifiers, not the different performances at home and away, Colombia won 4 of the last 5 in Barranquilla, but managed just 1 point away in the last 3 games, and that was the 1-1 against Peru in Lima. The first half in Montevideo was good for Colombia. They did not create a lot in attack, but they moved the ball very well. Juanfer Quintero, hats off for Juanfer. He would have been the man of the match if the Cafeteros would have taken at least a point out from Montevideo. He's a special player. They don't make them like Juanfer anymore, to be honest. He's enjoying an amazing moment, leading Racing to the chance of a first international title in 36 years. The free kick he scored in the Centenario was the 3rd kick he scored only in November. 2 for Racing and 1 for Colombia. Up to the 53 minutes of the game, it seemed that Colombia was managing the first victory in Uruguayan soil in as many years. But the pivotal moment, of course, was Davinson Sanchez scoring an own goal in a silly manner, because at the end of the day, when you look at the goal, you look at even the picture, there are no Uruguayan players around. For sure, some misunderstanding there with Camilo Vargas, the goalkeeper, because there were all yellow jerseys around. From the 1-1 onwards, of course, Uruguay started to push much more, started to exert their garra charrua, and it was clear as well with the 1-1 how much Colombia missed Jefferson Lerma in front of their defense. Juan Portilla did not provide the same cover in front of the back 4. With Ecuador being stripped 3 points in these qualifiers, they would have been level already on 19 points going into match day 12 with Colombia. You said they have no problems to beat Bolivia in Quito. If a pivotal moment for Colombia was Davinson Sanchez scoring an own goal, This said, you cannot lose a game at this level after equalizing the 95th minute and then lose it a minute later for Colombia. But that pivotal moment for Colombia, the pivotal moment for Ecuador was the 24th minute when the Bolivian center-back Sagredo, he played like a libero, like a volleyball libero inside the box, touching the ball with his hand. Saw a red card penalty. Valencia scored 2 minutes after. Plata scoring the second one. From there, the game was over. I mean, anyway, Ecuador was creating a lot of chances even before Valencia scored the penalty. So if that was the case before the opening goal and before Bolivia was reduced to 10 men, we can imagine what happened in the second half. The last 7 visits to Colombia for a CONMEBOL qualifier ended with 5 defeats for Ecuador and 2 draws, both 0-0. The last of those draws was on the road to Qatar. Just 1 goal scored for Ecuador in those 7 visits. In 5 away games so far for Ecuador, only 2 goals scored. The bookies don't place many hopes on both teams to score in this game. We have high odds of 2.5 for this Colombia-Ecuador on both teams to score. But Colombia has taken 13 points in Barranquilla as qualifiers. Only Uruguay managed to leave at least with a point from Colombia, and that happened on added time when Darwin Núñez scored. I will be going, Edu, to the goals market. Goals over 2.5, odds of 2.55 for this Colombia-Ecuador. And one which could be interesting, it worked in the Europa League. Colombia pushing from the start in Barranquilla as always. Why I'm saying this? Corners over 0.5 for the first 10 minutes. Corners over 0.5. Basically, Colombia needed 1 corner in the first 10 minutes. Odds of 1.8.
Let's see if we see James Rodriguez, for instance, taking these corners from the start. He was on the bench in the last game and came out lately in the game. Well, no doubts about the next game, Argentina-Peru. Of course, Argentina should win and probably should win big this game, 1.18 for La Albiceleste to win, to bounce back after losing to Paraguay. I heard some criticism around Rodrigo de Paul. I'm not sure if you are one of these, Leo, criticizing the Atletico midfielder, and Peru missed another chance to have hopes at least to qualify for the World Cup with this sad draw at home against Chile. Leo, the schedule for Peru, they have Bolivia and Venezuela next. So if they get the 6 points, there will be some hopes, but still, here we can only look to Argentina to win big, perhaps, like against Bolivia.
I don't know if that margin, but yes, I expect in Argentina could win both halves, as Argentina scoring on both halves. But yes, Argentina should bounce back from the very poor performance in Asunción. Going back to your question on Rodrigo de Paul, I think he's an easy target many times. They're not going to defend his level in Atletico Madrid. I know he haven't done, or he haven't shown yet a World Cup winning level in Atletico Madrid, but in Asunción, those who criticize him, I would say either they watch highlights or they haven't watched the full game, or it's just social media, because between Rodrigo de Paul, Enzo, Alexis, and even Messi, the best one in that midfield was de Paul the other day. Alexis and Enzo were very, very poor, in a very poor performance overall from Argentina, 80% possession in the full game, but that ball control did not translate into goal-scoring opportunities. Actually, Lautaro's goal came in a counter-attack. Argentina dropping the level again. I said playing away, something that's happening to others, but it's not an excuse for Scaloni's men. Going into this Peru's match in La Bombonera this time, because they need to use River Stadium for the final of the Copa Libertadores. Cuti Romero is out injured. Nahuel Molina is out injured. Before Paraguay, Lisandro Martinez and Germán Pesela have also needed to be dropped. So the Albiceleste is going to present a makeshift back four. Leonardo Valerdi, the Olympique Marseille player, he came on the second half for Romero, who had an injury on his toe, and he didn't grab his chance, to be honest. He committed the full leading to the second goal, and he lost the mark on Alderete, on Alderete's header. Argentina is suffering from set pieces. Lately, they have conceded 3 of the last 5 goals through that route, with the peculiarity that all of them came away from home, first in Colombia, then in Venezuela, and now against Paraguay in Asunción. Argentina has not been able to keep a clean sheet in 3 of the last 4 matches. That Argentina to win 2-0, it's been difficult to replicate lately. Maybe it's coming back now against Peru. It happened again with Bolivia, but again, I'm thinking the margin won't be the same as with Bolivia. It's a sharp contrast as well with the Copa America, when Argentina conceded, for example, just 1 goal on the road to winning the title. Even on the first 6 match days of these qualifiers, Argentina only conceded 2, and that was against Uruguay in 𝗵𝗵𝗻𝗀, in that first defeat of this road to 2026. Giuliano Simeone has been called. Garnacho played 30 minutes, but he was ineffective, not being able to pass a single Paraguayan defender. Away from home, anyway, the form for Peru is dreadful. 4 defeats, 1 draw, no goal scored. 3 goals scored overall in these qualifiers. They were lucky not to have conceded with Chile. Yes, Peru had a massive chance with Paolo Guerrero, who missed a sitter with a goal empty. But I can't see any reason to back a miracle for Peru on Tuesday night in Buenos Aires. With that makeshift back 4, I won't go to the win 2-0 for Argentina, Edu, but my take here, Argentina to score in both halves, 1.93.
Let's see if Argentina bounce back. It should be, again, an easy win for the world champions. It should be much more complicated at the other side of Los Andes. Chile, Venezuela, only 1 win for Chile, 6 points away from Venezuela, so it's a must win again. Leo, we've been saying this for a while for Chile, and they never win. But it's now or never. Even remember that they lost at home against Bolivia. That was also a match ball, and they lost it. Venezuela, Leo, also winless in the last 7 games in the qualifiers. Last win was actually against Chile, 3-0. But they are gonna be, I guess, Leo, they are very happy after the draw against Brazil. Couldn't be better, that result for the Vinotinto.
Absolutely, and I don't see Chile here being the favorite, to be honest. Even though Chile in Lima maybe played the best football since the first friendlies with 𝗂𝗏𝗏 in Europe, when they played Romania and France. That 3-2 against France was maybe the best under 𝗂𝗏𝗏, and since then I will put the game in, or at least the first half in Lima, as the best with El Tigre. Chile show Arturo Vidal back. He needed to be called 3 days before because of an injury, because he wasn't on the regional list for 𝗂𝗏𝗏. And that is very strange, because you have left Arturo Vidal out because you are saying, or 𝗂𝗏𝗏 was saying, that it was the time for the next generation to step up in Chile. But 8 months after Vidal has been criticizing, ridiculizing you heavily, you call him up again, you start him, and you give him the captain armband. So it shows that you are left with, to be honest, with no idea, so have to change the situation. Vidal has just won the Chilean league with Colo-Colo, and to be honest, he did well in Lima. The second half was not just Vidal dropping the level, but almost everyone. In the first half, Chile dominated the ball, had 9 shots on goal, 4 of those on targets, and then on the second half, the possession was similar, but only 4 shots on goal, and just 1 of them on target. So almost they half what they were doing in terms of shooting chances in the first half. I saw a Chile who was a little bit tired after the first half, where it was full of transitions and counter-attacks for Ricardo Gareca's team. But Gareca was cautious. He was lacking ambition because he didn't do changes. Or the only 2 changes he made into the game, those were on added time. Difficult to understand when the team, you could see the game, was asking you for changes. If Gareca is going to make it to March, he needs to finish match day 12 with 4 points out of 6. Of course, for that, they need to win against Venezuela. You mentioned 7 qualifiers without getting the 3 points, which makes it even more impressive. They are still on a better position in terms of like qualifying to the next World Cup. They have done a double draw with Brazil. They draw away, they draw at home. They could have lost it. I mentioned that Vinicius missed a penalty, but they had their chances as well, pushing Brazil in counter attacks. They have 11 attempts on goal in Maturin, and I can see Venezuela playing in a similar fashion. Edu, Chile has the pressure. They're gonna play at home. They need to win. It's a must-win. Yes, another must-win for them. So Venezuela can't punish them at the counter exactly the same way that Bolivia punished Chile. I'm sorry, last time in Santiago, playing at the counter. So for me, it's double chance Venezuela, good odds 1.8.
And 𝗲𝗏𝗀 sucked. Perhaps our friend Ivan Juric is already looking for a job. Leo, perhaps 𝗲𝗏𝗀 is the next one, who knows. And the last game we are gonna talk about is the best one, of course, Brazil-Uruguay in Salvador de Bahia. I wish I visited this city, Leo. I'm sure it's gonna be a great game, this Brazil-Uruguay. Remember, Uruguay beat Brazil already in these qualifiers, and they were able to bounce back against Colombia 3-2. They were scoreless in the last 4 games, and they scored 3 against Colombia. Not Núñez, again, without scoring with the Celeste. And Brazil, Leo, very unlucky against Venezuela. They have so many chances. Even Vinicius missed a penalty. Rafinha showing his good moment of form from Barcelona and scoring a great free kick. And at home, they grabbed 1 draw and 1 defeat. All the other games were wins. Do you expect Canariña to win?
To be honest, if there is a moment when Uruguay can win an official match for the first time since when? Since the Maracanazo. Since 1950, Uruguay have not won a competitive and official match in Brazil. Well, this is the time. After 74 years, I could think that this could be the time for Uruguay. However, I won't go myself X1 or X2. I can tell you, for me, it's both teams to score yes in here, 2.2 on this Brazil-Uruguay. Once the gates open for Uruguay, we can expect them to score, and they did it 3 times against Colombia, but tells us a lot that they needed an own goal to score after 4 games against Colombia. But more important, or as important as the goal, is that especially in the second half, Edu, I saw an Uruguayan team that recovered some of the best moments under Bielsa on those first few months with Bielsa, the intensity, the desire, and finally the goals too. They had in Rodrigo Bentancur the man of the match the other day. He returned to the national team after his suspension, and he did it with a hat and a stick, to be honest. And also, on top of the usual elegance and distribution, Bentancur gave the team a lot of goal recoveries. There were 9 ball recoveries in the whole match. So Ugarte was dropped. Ugarte was on the bench. Yes, Manuel Ugarte, the defensive midfielder, scored the winning goal. But Bielsa chose to start with Bentancur and Fede Valverde, 2 players that they know each other from the times with the under-20s in Uruguay. In the reverse fixture, Uruguay won for the first time in 21 years against Brazil with that 2-0 in Montevideo. I mentioned no wins in Brazil since 1950, although they were friendly when Uruguay won in Brazil, the last one in 1992. I don't know, maybe I can imagine someone in the Brazilian Confederation thinking, okay, we need to recover some flair, we need to recover some carnival feeling, okay, where we should play this match, let's go to Bahia. And Brazil never lost in Bahia in 18 matches between competitive games and friendlies. But Uruguay won a Copa America in Bahia, actually, in 1983. So both could say they have good memories playing in Bahia. Marquinhos yesterday in the press conference begging the supporters not to abandon the team. I can't remember the captain of Brazil talking last night. A win for Brazil can see them finishing this 2024 in the second place in these qualifiers, but a defeat against Uruguay could see them sixth if Ecuador and Paraguay win their games. You mentioned a lot of chances created against Venezuela, Bini also missing a penalty, but they showed a lot of weaknesses in to control the transition. That's why Venezuela ended with 11 attempts on goal, because they could all the time run through the midfield in those quick transitions from defense to attack. And if there is a way Uruguay and Bielsa can't hurt Brazil, one of the specialities of the house with Bielsa, that is exactly transitions, defense to attack. That's why, again, my take in this one is not 𝐿1 or 𝐿2, Edu. It's both teams to score yes, 2.2.
Great game, this one in Salvador de Bahia. Leo, we've listened to all your tips. Remember that you guys can also participate and post your tips in our tipster competitions. It's completely for free to participate, and you will have the chance to win cash money in our tipster competitions, monthly, yearly. And now that we are back with the Premier League next week as well, and with the NFL, with the NBA, a lot of options. And also you can participate and talk with the community thanks to our new channel in Discord. Leo, let's go with your safe bet.
Safe bet this time, goals over 1.75 in Argentina, Peru, 1.3.
ACCA?
ACCA, Colombia, Ecuador, goals over 2.5. Argentina, Peru, goals over 1.75. Brazil, Uruguay, both teams to score yes. Listen to this, healthy ACCA, 7.2.
Really healthy ACCA. Let's see if we are lucky with this always very complicated CONMEBOL qualifiers. Well, guys, tell me in your comments, your tips. Thank you. Leo, we are back in March with the CONMEBOL. So long time to rest in South America. Bye-bye.